by mail due to some reasons. But when he moved to Canada in 1980, he could successfully get his first Bhagavad Gita by mail from LA. When Maharaj was in Toronto in 1984, he visited a temple. I never left ISKCON temple after that. He started to live in temple on rent rather than staying outside. And that's how Maharaj got involved in temple services. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj has recommended making Maharaj a member of Vrindavan Executive Board. And so Maharaj has been serving as a vice president in Vrindavan, India for more than 12 years. Maharaj is an excellent Kirtaniya. He used to travel with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj all over the world and preach Krishna consciousness. Currently, Maharaj is staying in Delhi, Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call. We are really fortunate to have you on the call. Take over the call Maharaj, please. Hare Krishna.
Okay, hold on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Yes. That description must be like old of whatever description about myself. We're part of the management executive council, not the BEB. BEB is like the GBC overlooking Vrindavan. So just a little minor correction. Don't want to like promote myself in that way.
Sure, Maharaj. Definitely we'll correct that, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we can just chant a little bit, and then if that is okay, like few minutes, and then we'll
Sure,
start
Maharaj.
the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari, Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Siradhe, Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Siradhe, Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopala Krishna Goswami Damini Prabhupada Sasahityam Yapakasha Vitiracha Vacharam Kirva Sadhu Bhagavate Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguru Shijuta Padakamalang Shiguru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupang Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Ditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaniswari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 15, text number 19 and 20. The title of this chapter is Instructions for Civilized Human Beings. Let me see now. Since, yes, there is no purport, text 19, so that's why we move on to text 20. Asantustasya viprasya tejo vidya tapo yasa Savantindriya lolyena jnanam chaiva vakiryate. Because of greed for the sake of the senses, the spiritual strength, education, austerity, and reputation of a devotee or brahmana who is not self-satisfied dwindle, and his knowledge gradually vanishes. Text 20. Karmasyantam hiksutrivyam krodashaitat palodayat janoyati nalobasya jitva bhukva dishobhava. Word for word meaning. Kamasya, the desire for sense gratification or the urgent needs of the body. Antam, and he indeed should tridyam, by one who is very hungry or thirsty. Krodasya, of anger. Eta, this. Pala udayat, by venting. Chastisement and its reactions. Jana, a person. Yati, cross over. Na, not. Lovasya, greed. Jitva, conquering. Bhukva, enjoying. Disha, all directions. Bhuva, of the globe. Just a second. Hare Krishna. Yes, I have it in a different translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The translation. The strong bodily desires and needs of a person disturbed by hunger and thirst are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, that anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. But as for greed, even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world or has enjoyed everything in the world, still he will not be satisfied. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 37, it is stated that lust, anger, and greed are the causes of the conditioned soul's bondage in this material world. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Raja Guna, Samudbhava. When strong, lusty desires for sense gratification are unfulfilled, one becomes angry. This anger can be satisfied when one chastises his enemy. But when there is an increase in lobha or greed, which is the greatest enemy caused by Rajaguna, the mode of passion, how can one advance in Krishna consciousness? If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, this is a great boon. Tatra lolyam ikalang muram. This is the best path available. Again, the text. Kamasyantam hikshutribhyam krodasyash yata pralodayat jano yati nalobhasya jitva bhukva disho bhubha. So there are three enemies of the conditioned souls are being mentioned here. Starting from lust, anger, and greed. Prabhupada mentions that in the purport. In the material world, this is the tendency of the spirit soul. They are prone to fall into the under the clutches of Maya. Maya means that which is not. That means um, Maya is the predominating deity in the material world that binds us. In the spiritual world, also there is Maya, but that is Yoga Maya. In the material world, it's Maha Maya. And the conditioned souls who are in the material world, they're considered to be also marginal. Marginal means there's a tendency for them to be under the control of the material energy, or they can be under the control of the internal or energy. Uh, it depends on how one performs his activities. If one is under the jurisdiction of the internal energy, that means he is surrendered unto the Supreme Lord. That means he performs devotional service. Unlike those who are under the control of Mahamaya, that means they are surrendered or under the control of the dictations of their senses, the mind, uh, and he cannot be peaceful. He cannot be happy. He's always hankering for something materially to fulfill one's desire, the sense objects, for sense enjoyment, but he cannot be satisfied. That is the difference. Unlike those who are engaged in bhakti, especially the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord, they are um, very much inclined to be fully become satisfied. So the pure devotees, Prabhupada mentions in his purports, when he talks about a devotee, that means a pure devotee. Uh, he actually is under the jurisdiction of the internal energy, and is not controlled by the lower, the senses, the lower energy. That means material energy. He cannot be succumbed by the dictations of his senses and the mind. So that is the main difference. Um, there are six enemies that we have to fully control, and that means these six enemies are considered to be what we call anarthas. Anarthas. Anarthas means that which is unnecessary. Mhm. Um, there is no need for us to have those because that is not the real nature of the spirit soul. Uh, Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. Kama, krodha. Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. And as we've heard, everything can be engaged, everything can be dovetailed uh, for the service of the Supreme Lord, except one. That means Matsarya. That means envy. Um, Otherwise, the other five enemies can be used or utilized, and one can be fully happy if one utilizes it for the service of the Supreme Lord. Um, just, uh, just a matter of either we are a devotee or non-devotee. There is no such thing as in between. So for those who are exercising their minute freedom to be not to serve Krishna, then they'll be falling into be a non-devotee. But the pure devotees of the Lord, they don't misuse. They don't misuse their um, minute independence. So we have to control our senses in order for the mind to become peaceful, and intelligence has to be sharpened by intelligence. It says here um, transcendental knowledge, that's gyan, and then transcendental taste, vigyan. Control of the senses while performing or engaging one in Krishna's seva, then we can control all of these six enemies. That means we have to learn how to say no. We have to learn how to say no to Maya. And yes, there are many ways how we can engage our senses. Uh, Nine processes of bhakti, starting from hearing, chanting, remembering the Supreme Lord, worshiping the Supreme Lord in his archana, vigraha. There is vandanam, there's prayers, there's dasham, serving, sakyam, become his friend, the Supreme Lord's friend. Dasham, sakyam, atmani vedanam. Then ultimately serving the Supreme Lord and becoming his friend. As this the nine processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, the seventh canto. Same seventh canto. So um, from the acharyas, they mentions that one can stop lust. Lust means attraction towards the opposite sex or attraction towards wealth or position. That is meaning of lust. One can stop lust by becoming hungry and thirsty. Huh? How is that? Uh, um, that means if one fast, mm, and it's like during Ekadasi, where we are determined not to eat grains. Um, or some they perform complete fasting, dry fast is what it called. So yeah, one can stop lust. Um, and then it says one can stop anger by inflicting violence on the object of anger. If one is angry, usually they will shout. Usually it will be expressed onto their body. The eyes will be red, color red. Um, and a person who is full of anger usually would like to shout. So let the person shout. One who's angry because he's not able to get what he desires. So it can be stopped, the anger, by inflicting violence on the object of anger. Sometimes they will even hit the table or smash with their fist. Then after some time, their anger will subside. But specifically, this one very difficult to stop. Uh, one cannot stop anger or greed, rather. One cannot stop greed even by conquering all the directions and enjoying the whole earth. It's like in the story of Bali Maharaj, hmm? And Bhamana. When Bhamana asked for 3 steps of land, then Bali Maharaj was asking him, "Why are you only asking for 3 steps of land? This is nothing." And Bhamana, being a dwarf, how much can he cover in 3 steps of land? Somehow or other, Lord Bhamana, the dwarf incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he replied to Bali Maharaj that a greedy person, you can give the entire world, and still that will be not enough to suffice to his greediness. He will want more and more and more. And we've seen that um, even in this day and age, that those who are wealthy, those who have money, they will still be working hard day and night. It's like I remember when traveling in the Philippines, there is this a family. Um, they're devotees, practicing devotees, sadhakas, and they're working so hard, even though they have so much money. I asked them, why you work so hard? You have enough money to live for the rest of your life and even for your children. They cannot stop it. Hmm. So dissatisfaction arises from greed, and because greed is very difficult to conquer, dissatisfaction is very hard to remove. One cannot be content materially. It's not possible. That's why this was mentioned in 2 verses, previous one, 19, and uh, this under discussion today. So when one is hungry and thirsty from not eating because of the action of burning dhatus, one can stop lust. Hmm. Anger is stopped by violence, pralodayat, but one cannot stop greed, which is composed of desires. Even though one can conquer all the directions and enjoys the whole earth, the whole planet, or even the whole universe, um, if one is greedy for food, it can be stopped by eating. But it is not difficult to stop. It is not here. This greed, this is different. Greed. If you're greedy for food, okay, you keep eating, then it can be stopped by filling the belly. But there is certain greed that we cannot stop, which is the desire to fulfill one's lusty desires. Yes, that's the meaning of greed here. You cannot really mitigate it. You cannot stop it. So it's not possible. So we have to transform that greed. Um, and if one is greedy for Krishna, that is the best path possible that we can utilize that greed propensity materially, dovetail it to be greedy for Krishna. The Prabhupada says in the purport, we should enhance that greediness Instead of materially greedy, we should be spiritually greedy. And that is a healthy greedy. Being that, having that greed for Krishna's service, that is the best. That is the best thing to do. Hmm. Um, Lust, we can, so like the gopis, they dovetail that being lust, having that lusty desire to fulfill Krishna's desire, to enjoy them. Uh, or this anger, Hanumanji, he also used this anger. So, but in greed, we have to be greedy spiritually. It's like there are so many ways how we can do that. Um, Lobha. It's like a greedy person wants to accumulate as much as possible for himself, much more than he actually needs. That is what you mean by greed. You have more, you have enough, but you want more and more and more. And it cannot fully satisfy. It's like an example is given, just like you have a fire. You want to stop the fire, but you're putting petrol, you're putting gasoline. So how is that? How you be able to stop the fire, extinguish the fire? So this greed is there. He is very much obsessed for taking for himself only. And therefore sometimes he will have conflicts with others. Mhm. He'll be having conflicts with others, and he will have no mercy for them, because a greedy person, he wants to take only for himself. There's no such thing as charity. There's no such thing as giving to others a chance. um, and out of greed, nations also all over the world, different nations, um, they out of their greed, they will allow millions of people to die, to starve. There are many conflicts all over the world right now, like that. Uh, we have that example, Russia and Croatia. Yes, they've been fighting for how many years now? Mm. And even innocent people, they suffer a lot, starving, dying. How about in Gaza? Uh, Also, it's the same thing. So many innocent people, even children, they die without the cause. They will say is religious, why, but no, it's just like more political. Um, so yes, but greed is there. Yeah, material greed actually is a great evil. Material greed. However, a devotee also is greedy, uh, to use everything for the Supreme Personality of God's satisfaction. Yeah. And if a devotee is like this, obviously that is his mood. He's greedy to fulfill the desire of the Supreme Lord. Um, he gives everything to Krishna for his satisfaction. And therefore, his greed benefits others, everyone practically. Everyone. That is the opposite. If one is materially greedy, then no one gets benefited. But if a devotee whose greed is for only the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, then everyone gets benefited. Um, because a devotee of the Lord, he wants everyone, actually, he wants the whole world at Krishna's lotus feet. He delivers anyone whom he have contact with, and to have them surrender unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So he just not one for himself, Hmm. but all the fallen souls to take shelter under the instructions of his spiritual master. Yes, devotees like that. Um, like when Prabhupada uh, was present, the disciples, they will engage everyone to take shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet through their spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who can uh, help the conditioned souls to be delivered from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So he wants as many people as possible to gather before the deity of Krishna. And he's not satisfied as long as many people are still not surrendered to Krishna. So he has anxiety, a devotee of the Supreme Lord. He has anxiety that he wanted to have as many conditioned souls to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. That is his anxiety, not material anxiety. Material anxiety um, is very, very is full of sufferings. Oh, is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, yes, his anxiety is his bliss. That anxiety that he's not able to fulfill to please Krishna to the highest degree, as much as he can. Therefore, that is bliss for a devotee. Like Mother Yasoda, it is also anxiety, an anxiety that if Krishna is eating or not, when Krishna will go along with his cowherd boyfriends to tend the cows in the pasturing grounds of Vrindavan, Mother Yasoda, she's very worried. When will Krishna will come for his lunch? That Mother Rohini will be sent by Mother Yasoda to fetch Krishna and Balaram to come to take lunch, to take prasadam. Of course, sometimes they will bring their own tiffins, but not every day. Um, and they will not come. They will not go, even though they're being called. Ah. So this is the mood of the devotee. He wants the whole world at Krishna's lotus feet, and that is his greed. Um, there is a saying: if a Vaisnava, if you give a Vaisnava $1 million, uh, he will be at your door the next day. And when you ask him, "Sir, why are you back? I just gave you $1 million yesterday." And then he will reply, the Vaishnava will reply, "Yes, and thank you very much. But I have already spent it in service of Krishna. Can you please give more?" This is Prabhupada's way of um, how to use Krishna's money. He says, whatever comes today, we spend it tomorrow. Ah, whatever we have, we spend it tomorrow. So, so that will keep us also on our toes. That's why is it that the devotees of Lord Krishna seemingly yeah, they don't have much money. Krishna, even though Krishna is the source of all wealth, how is it that Krishna is not giving? So to put us on our toes, so to speak, so that we'll be always uh, eager, eager to collect for the service of the Supreme Lord, and not to be lazy. Uh, so this Vaishnava is like that. He can spend any amount of money for Krishna. Hmm. It's like when we have festivals. It's like in Vrindavan, we have festivals practically every day. It's like I was talking to one devotee this morning. I showed her and her husband coming from Canada our garland. Usually, this garland you will only see in North America, maybe during Janmashtami or Gaur Purnima. Uh, you can count in your fingers how many festivals um, that we celebrate throughout the whole year. But in Vrindavan, we do it every day. It's like the same um, service, the same way, same like every day is a festival in Vrindavan. So Krishna is unlimited, and consequently, Prabhupada also in his BBT books, the BBT is pumping books, millions and millions of books being published and distributed. Unlimited temples also can be opened. This is agreed. It's like here in Delhi, um, our Guru Maharaj established 18 temples. Ooh. Where in the world you heard that in one city or NCR, they call it NCR, National Capital Region, 18 temples. Sometimes very difficult even to maintain one temple. But here, oh, big temples, grand temples, not just a center or a preaching center. No, big temples have been opened here. Um, because this is what we want. We always want to be engaged in glorification of the Supreme Lord. Um, so to meditate in this way, everything can be used to serve Krishna. And this is the kind of greed that is wanted. Uh, this is transcendental and is beneficial for the whole world. To see the desire to see everyone in the universe saved from hellish suffering is not a material emotion. The Prabhupada, when he was in the Philippines, he told Buddhijam Prabhu that I have a desire to save the entire universe. So Prabhupada's greed is universal. It's for Krishna. Hmm. Ah. For devotee, uh, he can never get enough service. I'm just like overwhelmed after returning from my trip in the Philippines. I was overwhelmed how much service can be done, and 24 hours is not enough. It's like in Vrindavan, where this is our mood to serve the Lord and His devotees. So it's like nonstop every day. We're always thinking how to improve our service for the pleasure of the Lord and to take care of His devotees. So 24 hours is not enough. It's not enough time for serving Krishna. And every one of us is only, that's it, 24 hours. One cannot get another 1 second more. Um, but the devotee utilizes every moment in serving the Supreme Lord. This should be our mood. Not a single moment is wasted. Um, a devotee should be always keep reading about Krishna, or he wants to keep on preaching. Um, he wants to um, perform devotional service all the time in many ways. Because to understand this, um, that devotional service is unlimited. So he only chose to be doing that particular service of what is expertise for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. But other devotees are very expert in doing many, many things. Um, but if we can choose, we should find out. When we become mature in our devotional service, then we started to understand what is it that I would like to offer to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge for the service of the Supreme Lord and His devotees. So sometimes devotees they already found their niche. They're like that is their particular service, and he may be greedy to serve the Lord in that particular service, but he's also willing and ready teach others to teach others of that particular service that he is very, very expert. Otherwise, one will become envious. Prabhupada, when he taught Yamuna Mataji how to cook, she's the first in the movement to learn how to cook. Vedic style, Vedic way. Prabhupada told her that now I've shown you how to cook, uh, but you should also teach others how to cook. That's why she wrote this, what, like an encyclopedia of Vedic culinary dishes. And because if you don't teach others, then you'll become envious. You'll become envious. And that envious mentality, we cannot dovetail in Krishna consciousness. There is no envy in the spiritual world. Envy is only here in the material world. And that's why Prabhupada says, main reason why we are still here is because we are still envious, ultimately envious of Krishna. Envious of Krishna. Hmm. That is very difficult to give up. That is very difficult to give up. Uh, Most difficult to give up, being envious. But we can get rid of that envious mentality if our mood is always in that humble position and willing and always ready to serve others. That envy will be eradicated. Um, so everything can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness except envy. Greed, we can dovetail to become greedy for Krishna. Uh, So we should be always absorbed in intense hankering for service. There is no possibility of material greed to arise, to come about. So this is my 2 cents for you today. Something I hope that we've learned. I know you already know all of this, but it's just like a reminder for us. Sometimes we are mechanical in our actions, performing or trying to perform bhakti. So we should do our service, especially the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, not mechanically, uh, but with feelings, with bhav, with love and devotion. And whenever we utter the holy name of the Lord, um, we should, from time to time, think that what is the meaning of this Maha Mantra? It is not just, oh, I have to finish my 16 rounds as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. Because, yes, I promised to my Guru Maharaj that I have to chant minimum 16 rounds. Uh, so let me finish it as soon as possible. No, Prabhupada says it may take you even the whole day to chant the holy name of the Lord, but chant distinctly, chant sincerely, chant without any offenses. It's like we've heard before this discussion how um, one should try to avoid 10 offenses. And that's why we are hearing that day after day. Um, avoid the offenses while chanting the holy name of the Lord. So, yes, it says that from time to time when we chant, we should also reflect about the meaning of the Maha Mantra. So in this way, we'll have more um, purification coming coming into our heart or going on into our heart. Um, Otherwise, if we just chant mechanically year after year after year, then these anarthas will remain, or these unwanted desires, or these six enemies will be still there, and it will not be burned to the root. So, this is very important. Just like a friendly reminder to all of you, my dear devotees, that the goal is to be a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, give up all of our propensity to desire, lord it over the material energy, and ultimately one has to learn how to say no to Maya. Maya is so attractive. This is her duty to attract the conditioned souls. Of course, a pure devotee will never be attracted anymore. Once we reach that platform of being a pure devotee, then Maya doesn't work anymore. It's like a snake that doesn't have any pangs. Even if the snake bites, there's no more poison. It's gone. It will not be able to kill anyone whom the snake bitten. So it should be like that. Hare Krishna. We stop here. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. You can raise your hands. Oh, Gita Mataji. Let me see here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for enlightening class. Can you please explain the symptoms of an envious person? Thanks. Okay. Uh, you see, envy, the root cause of envy is that you've seen somebody whom having something that you don't have, and you want to have that thing that the other person has, but you want a better one, and you will do anything and everything, even to stop that person to having more than what you have. um, and this sometimes it becomes so heavy, that envy so intense that one will even kill that person, even if his loved ones or a dear relative. It's like you have something. It's like, oh, an envious devotee will say, oh, how come that devotee is always chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Every time I see that devotee is always chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Why is he the only one who will be chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? But you are not chanting yourself. You are not completing your rounds. You are like blaspheming that devotee. Criticism is there. Criticism. An envious person is always criticizing others as if he is the only pure person, as if he's the only sinless person. Hmm? Was that? It's like Prabhupada told his story. It's like there are two friends, right? And one friend, he doesn't want to study. He didn't finish the whole, only up to grade 12, let's say. And the other friend, oh, he was very studious, studied so hard that he became a judge. He became a judge. So when the news came and someone told, hey, your friend became a judge. And then the envious friend says, oh, really? Oh, he must be not getting any salary. He must be not getting any salary. His salary must be very less. So why? He should actually praise and glorify. Oh, really? My friend, my old friend? Oh, very good. Good for him. So an envious person is always seeing the negative. It's like he will even criticize the moon having pock marks, even though it's like, what, 2 days ago? Yeah, 2 days ago. Um, or was it? Yes, 2 days ago. It was full moon. Or was it yesterday? Anyway, 2 days ago it was full moon. So the brightness of the moon is so effulgent that you don't need the stars. But a person who's envious or having this critical mentality will say, "Oh, look at the moon. It has so many pock marks," and that is irrelevant. So we should be like a honeybee, always looking for nectar instead of a crow, always in the garbage, looking for garbage. Have you seen a crow going to smelling the flowers? No. So we should be like that. To not to become envious, we should become more and more surrender to the spiritual master and ready to serve anyone. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says like that. Um, One should not be expecting any respect for himself, but he should be ready to offer respect to everyone. That is the mentality of materialists, is the opposite. Someone should glorify me. If you don't glorify me, then you are my enemy. Mm. Or a materialist, he will give, like few dollars or few rupees, and then he will say, "Hey, Prabhuji, be sure you mention my name, okay, during the announcement, because I want my name to be heard." Hmm. No, that's not the way. That is one of the signs. Um, Envy, becoming envious, and being proud is the same thing. Practically, they're like synonymous. An envious person is not humble. So ultimately, though, the first quality in bhakti that we need to cultivate is humility. Without humility, we cannot go far. We cannot go far. We should not be boisterous. We should not be always trying to impress others, hmm, or talk about myself all the time. No, that's a tendency that one will be always in that mode of rajagun, envious, greedy, lusty. These are the three gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. And in the greed, the envious mentality is there. So one should live very simple, and accept and be satisfied. Whatever Krishna has given to us, we should be satisfied. Then one will not become envious. and greedy. Is that okay, Gita Mataji? You want to say something? Haribo.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances of Vishnu Srila Prabhupada. Mataji is thanking you, Maharaj, for explaining it so nicely. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class and explaining everything so nicely, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have one question. Can I ask, Maharaj?
Just 1 second. Let me open the door. I'm feeling a little suffocated here. Okay? Just
Sure.
1 second. Hold on. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, envious to, you said, envious to Krishna. That means we are indirectly being envious to Krishna, like we are envious some means uh, if we are envious of some other devotees or any other living entities, then because Krishna is in everyone's heart as Paramatma, so we are envious to Krishna, and it is very difficult to cross that. Is that true, Maharaj?
You are correct. We should see
Maharaj.
everyone in equal vision. What's that verse? Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmani Gavihastini Suni Chaiva Suni Chaiva Pasar Pandita Samadarshina. That a learned Brahmana or learned person is a real learned person. He sees everyone in equal vision because he sees the Paramatma within everyone's heart. So if we know this is Bigyan, that means Bigyan, transcendental taste. That is the word given, Bigyan, transcendental taste. We will not envy anyone. We will not envy. And if we envy them, then yes, indirectly we are envious of Krishna, unknowingly, unknowingly, because they are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. If we harm anybody, especially the Vaishnavas, even by words, um, fortunately in Kali Yuga, if we think something ill or bad or sinful, it doesn't count. Only when we take action, or only when it comes out from true words. Um, Ultimately, that is harmful for us because Krishna is the one who feels the pain, not the devotee. The devotee is free from the bodily conception of life. It's not affected, whatever we tell them. This is the understanding. If something is bad being spoken to you and it's not true, so why be angry? If it's true, you should thank that devotee. Prabhuji, thank you very much. Now I'll have to improve myself. So we should be very careful in the way how we deal with the devotees and with the non-devotees, mm, because they're all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. And you say the solution is we should very faithfully serve to our spiritual master by following his order, by following his money. Then everything will be followed in track.
Yeah.
Is that the solution, Prabhu? Maharaj,
Yeah.
you say?
If we chant properly, if it's mechanical the whole time, all these anarthas are there. You may think, oh, I don't have any more lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion. It's still there. It's just a matter of time that it will come out again. But if we chant purely, earnestly, sincerely, then all of this will be burnt to the root. It will not fructify anymore. This is what they do. The farmers in India or anywhere in the world, before they before the new season comes for planting the seeds, they just not like uprooting the weeds or anything, whatever is remaining from the previous harvest. They will burn, they will cultivate, and they will burn whatever is remaining. So a fresh new start, fresh crops will be fully blossoming. So it is like this. This should be our way of how we can ultimately get rid of all of these anarthas, enemies within our heart. Mm. One doesn't
Thank you,
need,
Maharaj.
well, yeah, one doesn't need to be very sastric, knowledgeable. In Kali Yuga, all we need to do is to chant purely the holy name of the Lord, especially. Yeah. Anything else
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for explaining so nicely. Maharaj, I can see one hand raised from Krishna Kshetra Prabhu.
from Edmonton?
Prabhuji, would you please?
Where is that? From Edmonton?
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
So you mentioned about enviousness, and when somebody is not in service, he might create some enviousness. What about also if a senior Vaishnava, he is not awarding service to others, and is he not himself creating enviousness?
Then he cannot go back to Godhead. In this spiritual world, all the services are being shared. In this spiritual world, everyone is serving and helping others to move closer to Krishna. Not giving service to others means you're not allowing others to make progress in Krishna consciousness. And if you're stopping their gradual process, then how can you be called as a senior Vaishnava? You are not even a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava means he helped everyone. This is his greed. And we mentioned this already, right? His greed is to bring everyone under the shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. So how is that going to happen if you're not allowing others to do service? Uh, Prabhupada's movement is in trying to engage everyone in Krishna's service. That means he's not in the right movement. Yeah, this institution is not meant for him.
Thank you, Maharaj.
But it just takes a matter of time. Uh, Radharani will not allow that to happen for a long time. Maybe by karma, when you say maybe senior means being in a position as an authority, um, he must have accumulated some good karma from the past, or he's given an opportunity to perform the duty to be Krishna conscious. Either ways, at least two ways. Um, but if we have that opportunity to engage everyone in Krishna's service, Krishna will become dear to Krishna. And if you don't, then instead of you getting closer to Krishna, you're gonna be going far and far away. Maybe it will not be felt in this lifetime, in the future. So don't envy that person. Don't envy him. Actually, he needs a lot of prayers from the devotees. That is our best weapon. How we can help that person. Pray for him. Don't hate him, then you'll become in the same level as he is. He says, don't play with the pigs, you'll get dirty also. There is a saying like that, yeah? So pray for that person that he will actually realize if he's doing wrong things. Like the parents. Parents, if the children go astray and left the family, wants to be independent, the parents will only, that's the only way how to bring him back or the children back or the child back is to pray for them. Okay,
Thank you, Maharaj.
thank you. Anything
Thank
else?
you. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Do you have time, Maharaj? Anuradha Mataji have one question. I
Sure,
think she has.
sure.
Thank you,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful.
Slowly. Okay, slowly.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Thank you for the wonderful class, Maharaj. Maharaj, as you said that one need not to be very shastric and holy name is everything for this Kali Yuga, that I understand. But I was also thinking when we serve or even the intelligence that needs to be sharpened, that comes from the Shastra. So if we
Yeah,
are not like decent amount of Shastric, and I feel because we serve Kalachandji temple in Delhi, I mean, if we don't read books, the mood when we serve is completely different than when we do. I'm talking for myself, and when
yeah,
I hear Srila Prabhupada and wonderful devotees like
sure.
yourself, so Maharaj, how do we
Okay,
reconcile the both?
okay. One needs not to be a jnani. That's what I'm trying to say. To attain love of God. Others, they just read 8 hours a day and they don't do any service except reading. So, what will be the conclusion to that? You must have heard a story of a Brahmana from the south. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw he was crying and people laughing at him. Yeah, you've heard that story?
Yes, Maharaj, I did.
His guru instructed him to read the Bhagavad Gita, but then he is practically illiterate and sometimes, is reading upside down. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, well, why are you crying? Because he noticed that there are tears coming from his eyes. He says, I just remember, even though my Guru Maharaj asked me to read, but practically I'm illiterate. But whenever I see the picture of Lord Krishna as Parthasarthi driving the chariot of his friend and devotee, I can see his genuine love for his devotee. You know what Prabhupada says? The conclusion why I wrote these books, these books being published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, um, he says this is not just for distribution. This is for also my disciples to read. And the conclusion is that when you understood what you read, you will chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is to convince us to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra purely. And then when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then we read again Prabhupada's books, then we relish Prabhupada's books. The goal is not to become a, like real scholar. The goal is to understand the conclusion of Srila Prabhupada's books, for us to be engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord and help spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message to give the holy name to whomever we meet. The conclusion. That is the conclusion. So one need not, read all the Puranas, all the Itihasas, all the Samhitas. If we can understand Bhagavad Gita, that's more than enough for us to be equipped to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Very grateful to you.
Hare
Krishna for this,
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for explaining it so nicely. And in the chat also, devotees are thanking you, Maharaj, for the wonderful class. And I cannot see any more hand raises, Maharaj. So with your permission, can we end the call here, Maharaj?
Yes. Have a good day. Krishna
Hare Krishna,
conscious
Maharaj.
day ahead of you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Maharaj. Thank you so much for the beautiful class, Maharaj. Very grateful for you.
Nice.
Hare Krishna,
And
Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Hare.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Dhanyavad.
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः
Om Tat Sat. One second. Hare Ram.
Nityananda.
Anyway, just one second. Anyone? Hey, one second. Anyone who
Hare
wish to
Krishna, Maharaj, can you
contact
please unmute yourself?
contact me.
Maharaj,
Maharaj is talking, but he's muted.
Sorry. Anyone who wish to contact me and ask any further question, you can send me a private message. Okay? Hare Krishna.
sure, Maharaj, definitely.
Thank you,
Recording
Maharaj.
stopped.
Hare Krishna.
Dandabad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai
Jai.
Gaur Shikana Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.
Maharaj, we'll end the call here.
Om Tat Sat.
Bye.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari. Okay, we end up now also here. Our live stream. Hare Krishna. This is here. I have this question. Sometimes we get satisfied in investing a small amount of time for serving Krishna. How are we supposed to increase our love for serving Krishna? It is not also the quantity, it's the quality of your service, the mood of your service. So from quantity comes quality. So it's very difficult to attain that good quality service if we only do a small amount. So we should pray. That's why we're praying. O energy of the Lord, Srimati Radharani, please engage me in the service of Lord Krishna. So that should be our goal. And if you just chant, that is also service. But physical service, like to the deities or to the Vaishnavas, we should always be hankering for that. Okay, we stop here. Thank you very much. Hari Hari.